Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, for example, if you have been aligned to a spiritual path for years and years and still could not figure out the plain sight truth, could not figure out who you are, then probably you've been using the spiritual practice in a wrong way. You've been using the spiritual practice to, bypass the issues, the mental issue, the emotional issue, and the further subtle, the psychological issue. This can happen when we align with the spiritual practice, when we are not, mindful, when we miss the purpose of the spiritual practice. The reason to align with the spiritual practice is to overcome the mind. Isn't it? The mind that is creating so much stress, the mind that is creating so much fear in life. Because of the mind, we are struggling. And, overcoming the struggle was the main purpose. But somehow we have lost that primary goal of the spiritual practice because of the spiritual ideas and spiritual practices that are available in the world these days. There are tons of spiritual practices promising that the practices will liberate you from your pain, mental pain, emotional pain. But when you are involved in those practices for years and years, it's so easy to numb yourself in that practice, to anchor yourself in that practice. And the reason to anchor yourself in those practices is because you see some result. Momentary result is seen. Momentary freedom is seen from those practices. Those practices, is helping you to forget your issues. Those practices is helping you to forget your fear. Put you in that bubble. And when you have seen, some result, it's so easy to repeat that practice again and again. This is the practice like you are in that hamster wheel. You're spinning, thinking you're going somewhere. But if you zoom out, if you step out of that hamster wheel, you see that you're going nowhere. This realization takes stepping back and reevaluating your practice. Am I really free from this practice? Is this practice helping me to be free from my, fear, the conflict, the negative narration that is ongoing? It's so easy to numb ourselves in the spiritual practices if we are not aware. Not just that, when we are numbed with those practices, now there's a beautiful spiritual ideas, supports that numbness. When you can't figure out, you are still aligned with the spirituality, you are, exploring, and there are beautiful meanings you see for the truth. And, there's a further numbing will happen. Also not realizing that whatever beautiful spiritual ideas we hear, they are just the byproduct of the truth or the reference to get to the truth, but not the truth itself. This positive, thinking is another trap. The ego itself is making you trap. Ego loves to create that illusion in the practice because the ego doesn't want to die. The real spiritual practice is about dissolving the ego self in oneself. And ego is threatened by that, and ego will do whatever it can do to not to die. That's why the ego self will always provide the upgrade, the upgraded experience, upgraded meaning. And every time you go through that, your ego self is loving you. You are creating that flow and you are loving it, and that's the way to continually be in that um, numbness. So if you see that this is happening in your life, how do I resolve this issue? The first thing is, you step back and see, whether your practice is helping you to overcome your fear or overcome your mind. If that is not happening, then, it's time to shift gear. And then, after that, you gotta remind yourself not to bypass your emotional issues. You're not bypassing your mental stress, emotional fluctuation, or the psychological trauma. So you're not avoiding those. To break free from this spiritual numbness, we have to, face the issue rather than denying the issue. So now, what you need to do is anchor yourself by turning the awareness back to yourself. This is the simple practice you can incorporate in your spiritual practice. You turn the awareness back to yourself and you watch yourself. This is the practice that will help you anchor. You're anchoring your awareness in you. It's so easy, to get distracted. Our awareness, is moving everywhere, trying to focus in everything. Just in a regular day, notice how you are focused in so many things, right? So that means the awareness is not able to sustain in one place. You are not able to put yourself in one place and focus on that particular stuff. So that means, that means there's so much conditioning in us. The body is conditioned to the past experience. The past experience is making the mental conditioning, and the conditioning always resurface, and our awareness, fidget, goes everywhere. So to avoid that fluctuation in us, turning the awareness back to ourselves is a simple approach without adding the mental layers anymore. Just watching yourself will help you anchor your awareness in you. Not just that, this practice also help you to minimize the fluctuation of the mind as well. The chaotic mind starts to calm down, and also your body will calm down. So from this practice, there's a two result. First one is you are anchoring your awareness in you. You are settled in the awareness sense, your focus sense. And the second benefit is your body and mind is also settled. Now, once you do that, then there's a second step of the practice. A second step of the inquiry practice is investigating your mind. Now, investigating the mind means, you're watching the mind and tracing the mind backward. Now, let's go back to the emotional fluctuation, mental fluctuation. Now, whatever idea comes in your mind that will fluctuate you, whatever emotional feeling that comes in you, makes you scatter. Now, once you see that, you ask yourself, why do I have this stress, mental stress? Or why am I experiencing this emotional fluctuation? See, this why is going to provide you the answer. You're not adding more in your mind. You are subtracting the mind. You're dismantling the mind with the why. So when you ask yourself, why am I experiencing this fluctuation, or why am I having this mental stress? Why am I stressing? Then that why is going to provide you the answer. The answer will come. There's a reason for your struggle. There's a reason for your fluctuation. So when you ask why, the answer will be there. And whatever answer comes in, now use the same answer to deepen the inward work of dismantling. Now ask yourself why this answer is important. Why do I associate it with this answer? And that second why is gonna give you the second answer. And whatever answer comes in with the second why, now use the answer to go back further. No matter what resurface in your mind, you keep asking why. Why do I have this? Why do I align with this? Why this is important? So this why is going to help you to walk back on your mind to no mind. And this is the way to understand the nature of the mind. This is the process to be thorough on your mind. And basically, you have to look into all your fear, all your attachment, or investigating on your day-to-day fluctuation or fight or resistance. Basically, they are simply your attachment and fear. So you be thorough in all aspects of your life, especially places you are heavily ingrained in, when there is a heavily influenced belief in you. So you investigate on those, and that's the way to understand why you are aligned or ingrained with the belief, ingrained with the past experience. This is the way to really understand the mind. When you learn to go backward, when you are so thorough, and you will end up moving towards the no mind from whichever issue you choose to work on. The end result is the same. You can go back from any surface experience, the root is the same. You end up with the same root. And after that, once you see the root cause of the issue, then you ask yourself why you are still moving from that root. And that will help you to go further back all the way until no mind. And when you are able to get to that place of no mind from any situation of your life, from your mental stress, from the emotional stress, from psychological stress, and if you can go back towards no mind from all aspects of your life, and if you are thorough and if you are unbiased in the path, then when you ask yourself, who am I? And this will help you to see the plain sight truth. This is where the ego gives up. The reason we are suffering, there's a mental stress, the emotional stress, the psychological stress, is because the ego is in charge of your life right now. That means the truth is missing. When the truth is missing, the ego is there. The ego is always, making you control, resist, or run away from the issues. If if you're able to control it, you control it. If you don't like it, you resist. If you can't handle it, you run. Ego is making you all that. That means you are making yourself do that by missing out the truth. So how to realize the truth is the approach that I just mentioned. Witness yourself, dismantle all your belief in you. Belief means your ingrained belief, which is your attachment and its byproduct, which is the fear. And ask yourself, who am I? So if you follow these steps, it will lead you towards truth. Now here's the thing, from my side, I'm sharing you what works. And and this is my intention to give you, provide you the information for free. The spiritual practice journey is, it's free. And, so that you don't have to, waste your time going around to figure out the wisdom to be free. You don't have to waste the energy. You don't have to, lose your saving for the sake of freedom. Freedom has always been, free. To realize that, you have to open to the process. And, if you're open to the process and if you are doing the work, you will start to see the spark, and the spark will help you maintain the practice. Yes, there are definitely a lot of distraction in the world. Everybody is saying that, hey, my way is going to lead you there. Everybody is saying my way, So, and that my way cost, it costs you a lot. So, if you don't have money, you cannot travel around the world, go to retreats, see gurus and all this, all this entertaining stuff for your ego, then you are hearing the same message here for free. Apply it and see what happens. Okay? Anyway, the reason to make this video is not to use the spiritual bypass to avoid dealing with emotional, mental, and psychological issues. So try not to run away from the issue. That's not the way to figure out truth. The issue is there. You see whatever you did in the past is not working. Now try this simple approach. Turn the awareness back to yourself. Trace your mind backward with asking yourself why, and then ask yourself, who am I? That's it. Anyway, hope this video makes sense to some extent. I hope you're enjoying the backward movement if you have been following me. And yeah, continue the backward movement practice, and the practice will not fail you if you are sincere in dismantling. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Take care for now. See you in the next video. Bye.